Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Find the Joy with Jen. I am so glad that you're here with me today. If you're listening while you're driving, walking, or just doing life, I am so grateful that you pressed play today. This episode is especially for women listening who feel exhausted, stuck, or quietly wondering, why does life still feel so heavy, even though my divorce is over? Or even if you've never been through divorce or separation and you're just feeling unsatisfied and discontent with your life, this episode today is especially for you. Maybe you're doing all the right things. You're functioning, you're responsible, you're holding it all together, taking care of everything and everyone besides yourself. And joy feels just out of your reach. If that resonates with you, stay with me because today's episode is for every woman who wants more from her life. More peace, more confidence, and more joy. Whether you're single, married, divorced, separated, remarried, or anywhere in between, this conversation is for you today. Because regardless of your relationship status, many women reach a point where they quietly wonder why life feels so heavy and unfulfilling. Even though you're doing everything you're supposed to do, all the right things, if you've ever felt that way, I want you to know that you are not alone, you're not broken, and you are not behind, my friend. This is not about judgment. It is all about awareness, and awareness gives us a choice. So take a deep breath, maybe grab a journal and a pen if you can, and let's do this together. Before we dive into today's episode, if you're watching on YouTube and you care about your personal growth, healthy relationships, and building a life for yourself that feels joyful and aligned, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I release new videos every week to support women just like you, and I would love to have you here alongside me. Today, we're going to talk about the 3 roles that women tend to fall into in life and in relationships, and how one of these roles leads to empowerment, healthy connection, and lasting joy. This applies to all women, but especially after a divorce. Many women don't realize that they're no longer just healing from a relationship, they're relearning how to relate to themselves. Divorce can shake your identity. And it can distort how you see your needs, your voice, even your worth. This is not about labeling or judging yourself. Please hear me. I want to help you gain some awareness about how you're showing up in your life and in your relationships, and then offer you the choice because there is a better way. Many times from a young age, women are taught how to be good, kind, agreeable, responsible, even strong, but accommodating. But very few of us are taught how to lead ourselves. Instead, we learn roles that help us feel safe, accepted, and needed. And these roles don't just show up in our romantic relationships. They show up at work, in our friendships, in our parenting, in our family dynamics, in how we relate to ourselves, and even how we relate to God. Most women cycle through 3 main roles as they move throughout their lives. These roles are not bad, or do they reflect character flaws? They're just adaptive strategies. They can help you survive extremely difficult situations, but survival is not the same as thriving. And only one of these roles leads to a life that feels grounded, empowered, and joyful. The first role is victim, sometimes also showing up as a pleaser or even a young girl. In this role, a woman gives away her power and waits for life or other people to define her experience. On the outside, this role can look kind or agreeable or even easygoing, but on the inside, it often feels small, unseen, and disconnected. Women in this role often wait to be chosen or reassured. They avoid conflict just to keep the peace. They put others' needs first while ignoring their own and hope things will change without taking action. After divorce, this role often shows up as the thought, I just want someone to love me again, or I don't want to rock the boat, or if I'm patient enough, things will work out. But here's the hard truth, friends. The victim role feels safe, but it slowly erodes the connection you have with yourself. Over time, this leads to quiet resentment and diminished joy in your life. This role is not about weakness. It is about being disconnected from your agency because when you're waiting, you're minimizing yourself or hoping someone else will fix things for you. You just keep putting your life on hold. In your relationship with God, the victim tends to wait instead of partnering with the Lord. She may pray for rescue, answers, or change from someone else, but then hesitate to act. She may believe God will move her forward someday while staying stuck in fear or self doubt today. Faith becomes passive rather than empowering. This role is not about weakness, it is about learned helplessness and a disconnection from your agency, both spiritually and emotionally. So, if this role resonates with you, I want to suggest that you ask yourself some questions. Where do I wait instead of choosing? Where do I silence myself to avoid discomfort? What do I hope others will notice or fix for me? If you see yourself here, let me be clear. There is nothing wrong with you, my friend. This role is learned, and it makes sense why you've stepped into this role. But this is not where confidence, connection, and joy live, and it does not lead to freedom. Let's talk about the second role that I see women falling into many times. It is the manager. It's also called the protector or even the boss. This role often develops when being nice no longer feels safe. The manager tries to create safety through control. So she overfunctions emotionally and mentally, manages or monitors others, over communicates, takes responsibility for other people's feelings and actions, and often feels exhausted, overworked, and underappreciated. Who all can relate to this? I know I have been in this role many times. After divorce, this can sound like if I don't handle it, it won't get done. Or I have to stay on top of everything. Or I do everything by myself. Or I can't relax. I have to be ready for whatever comes next. And listen, this role often gets praised because you are capable, strong, independent, reliable. But here's what it costs. The manager role kills ease, connection, and robs you of your joy, my friend. And you know this because inside, the manager feels anxious, tense, and disconnected from others and even from yourself. When you're managing everything, there's no space to relax, there's no room for trust or even receive from others. You're too busy putting out fires, putting out energy, giving to everyone. Control can feel powerful, but control is not the same as confidence. In her relationship with God, the manager tends to take over instead of trusting the Lord. She may believe in God, but she still feels like everything depends on her. Prayer becomes more like a reporting or strategizing session instead of surrendering. Faith exists, but it's paired with anxiety, pressure, and self reliance. So this role can feel powerful, but it blocks your peace, your receptivity, and your joy. So if this role sounds familiar to you, I want you to ask yourself a few questions. Where am I trying to manage instead of relate? Where do I step in because I don't trust others to step up? And what am I afraid would happen if I stopped managing or controlling everything? Again, this role didn't come from nowhere. You developed this role for good reasons, but it's not the role that leads to fulfillment and true confidence and joy in your life. Now, the third role that I want to talk about is the most important, and it's the integrated woman, sometimes described as a grounded woman or a woman at ease. This is the role of self leadership, and it changes everything, my friends. The integrated woman takes responsibility for her own needs and emotions. She expresses her desires clearly without demanding or pleading. She leads herself calmly, confidently, and with faith. She sets boundaries without guilt or anger, and she stays grounded during uncertainty and even conflict. She invites connection instead of chasing or controlling others. And most importantly, she finds joy regardless of her circumstances or relationship status. She is neither passive nor controlling. She is present, confident, and rooted. Most important, she is integrated spiritually. In her relationship with God, the integrated woman understands the nature of partnership. She prays and then she acts. She trusts and she takes responsibility. She listens, discerns, and then moves forward, even when clarity isn't perfect. Her faith grounds her rather than paralyzing her. God is not someone she waits on or tries to manage. It is someone she walks with in a true partnership. And she finds joy, not because life is perfect, but because she is anchored in her faith in God. It is a beautiful place to be, my friends. This role is not dependent on a marital status. It applies to single women, married women, and women in every season of life. And it is not about who you're with. It is about how you lead yourself. This role is not something you are or are not. It is something you practice. And when you learn the skills necessary, you step into this role with confidence and grace and lead your life from that place. So ask yourself, where am I already showing up as an integrated woman? And what helps me feel grounded and confident? What would it look like to choose myself with grace? The integrated woman does not wait to be chosen. She chooses herself. And from that place, healthier relationships and a fuller life flows naturally. Most women recognize themselves in all three roles at different times, and that is completely normal. The goal is not perfection, friends. The goal is awareness and intentional choice. Ask yourself which role you default to most often. When you slip into victim or manager energy, and what it would look like to practice showing up as an integrated woman more consistently. This is where transformation begins, not with shame, but with clarity. This work is not about fixing other people. It's about learning how to lead yourself, my friends. I want you to hear this clearly. People in our lives and our relationships don't respond well to women who are powerless or controlling. This is how we lose ourselves and become a version of ourselves we don't even recognize anymore. When we step into our own power and claim the role we hold, we show up as the best version of ourselves, grounded in who we are, confident and responsible for ourselves. The goal of personal growth isn't to wait on others or to manage them. It is to consistently show up as the integrated woman who leads herself with clarity, confidence, and courage. A woman who leads herself with grit and grace. So many women are told to just be more confident or set boundaries or love yourself more, but no one teaches you how to do that in real life. And that's why so many women are staying stuck, cycling between overgiving and over-controlling, hoping joy will someday arrive. And I see this so many times after divorce when women are told to be strong or just move on or just focus on yourself. But no one teaches you how to really heal and overcome those broken patterns or roles that you have been in your past and step into the best version of yourself, confident in who you are, leading your life in the direction you want it to go. And that's where so many women get stuck, cycling between waiting and managing and hoping things will change one day in the future. Joy does not come from waiting, and it does not come from controlling or managing. It comes from self leadership. And this is exactly why I created my new women's coaching program, the Joyful Covenant Woman, where we create empowered women, healthy relationships, and lasting joy. This program is for all women wanting to live empowered, intentional lives, build healthy and fulfilling relationships, feel confident in who they are, and experience joy that isn't dependent on your circumstances. Inside this work, we focus on understanding your default role, learning how to regulate your emotions, practice setting boundaries with confidence, and reconnecting with your voice, your desires, and leading yourself into a life that actually feels good, where you actually experience joy regularly. This isn't about becoming someone new, it's about becoming more fully who you already are. As we wrap up, let me leave you with this. Joy does not come from waiting or managing. It comes from choosing to lead yourself with confidence, connection, and grace. No matter where you are in your life, it is not too late to step into a new role for you. And if you're ready to step into that next chapter, I would be honored to walk alongside you. So stay tuned for all the details to come about my new women's coaching program, The Joyful Covenant Woman. I am so excited about this and I cannot wait to share it with you. If this message has resonated with you today, please give this video a thumbs up because it will help more men and women find this content. And I would love to hear from you, friend, in the comments. Which role do you see yourself in most often? Or which role are you working towards? Thank you so much for being here, Joy Seekers. And remember, there is still joy ahead for you, my friend, and I can help you find it. Bye, y'all.